What we're going to be doing is fitting guttering. We're doing it in a workshop situation, so it's slightly different. We're working off of A-frames and a trestle board. Ordinarily, it would happen when the building's going up, so you would be working off of scaffolding. What we're going to do is we are going to fit the first clip. We're going to go run through the process. We're starting at the highest point here, running outlet, going down that column there. So what I'll do is I'll fit the first clip. So we're going to fit the first bracket about 15 millimeters down from the top of the fascia board. It is important, because we are using the fascia board as taking measurements from the top of it, is to make sure that the fascia has been fitted level. And using a spirit level, we can see that yes, the fascia board is level, so we're safe taking our measurements from the top of the fascia board. So the first clip, as we said, 15 millimeters down, and we're going to fit that. First one fixed. So if we could have the running outlet, that'd be fantastic. Thank you, Chris. And because we're going to be fitting 3 meters of pipe, with guttering we need a 1 in 600 fall. So 3 meters, that will require us dropping from the highest point to the lowest point 5 millimeters. So we fitted the first bracket at 15 millimeters. So the top of this running outlet bracket we are going to fit at 20 millimeters. Yeah. Just make a mark. Great. Now we'll fit the bracket. Now that's fitted, we need to make sure that the rest of the clips are all in line and fitted levelly. So what we'll need now is a string line. Now we fit the string line, very important, to the bottom part of the bracket. So as when we fit the rest of the brackets, all of the bottom part of the bracket will be in touching the string line. So run it along. We make sure it is tight. We don't want to pull the bracket off the fascia, but make sure it's tight so as it doesn't sag in the middle, like so. It's touching the bottom of the running outlet there. So the maximum distance we can have on our brackets is 1 meter. And we know we're going to fit a 3 meter length there, but just measure it to make sure to the running outlet we have 3 meters there. So what we will need is another 2 brackets, meters distance, and then that should support the full length of the guttering. So we'll put our first measurement, one meter. Again, making sure that the bottom of the bracket is actually just touching the string line. Just put a second screw in. So we're going to fit our next clip at the mark there. Using the string, we know now that these brackets are all in line, and we will have a perfect fall on the guttering, 1 in 600. Okay. Thank you, Chris. The important part of fitting the guttering is obviously making sure we get the correct insertion depth. And with the running outlet, there is a line just inside that allows for the expansion of the guttering. So when it does heat up in the warm weather, it will grow and it won't be buffered up against these stop ends. So we make sure that we just insert the guttering to that insertion line and then snap it in position. And finally, last one. Now what we're going to fit is a stop end on the end of this pipe here. Next bit is just the last piece on the other end of the running outlet. For that purpose, what we use is a very small piece. Again, we make sure it goes into the insertion depth. But what we will need to do is put a bracket on there. It's quite important really, because what's going to happen when water runs along the guttering, if it should overshoot the outlet, then it's going to congregate in the end here. And if we don't support this end, what you'll find is over a period of time, then that piece will just fall off the end of the guttering. So we're going to put a clip on the end there and just pop it back out. Making sure that it goes into the insertion depth. Just snap that in position. Snap that last bracket. And make sure we put the stop end on. Let's clip the last stop end on. So now what we'll do is we make sure that the gutter is into the insertion depths. Now we're ready to fit the downpipe. Thank you, Chris. On the bottom of the running outlet, it's important that we have a short piece of downpipe. And then with the two 45s there, we will fit a swan neck. And it's just so as we can set the downpipe back to the building. Usually the fascia will be proud of the brickwork, so there will be more of a variant. With a 45, that gives us the option. So the swan neck on there now, we're just ready to have the downpipe fitted.